right, let's factor this. So the first method of factoring is called the greatest common factor. So what we want is the greatest number that goes into 25 and 50. A lot of times when you ask that question, people will say 50, but the problem with that is that 50 doesn't go into 25. So the biggest number that goes into 25 and 50 is going to be 25. Now it helps to know some rules of multiplication here. So like if you know all of these, you realize that if a number ends in 5, then it's divisible by 5. And if a number ends in 0, then it's divisible by 5 or 10. So looking at these, we know 5 would go into each one, but hopefully you'll realize that 25 is the greatest common factor. 25 goes into 25 one time, 25 goes into 50 two times. So I'm going to write the 25 down. So that's just the numerical part. Now I'm going to look at the variables, x to the third and x squared. If you have the same letter, the greatest common factor is going to be the smaller exponent. That's the one that at least each one of them has at least 2 x's. So this is 3 x's, x times x times x, and this is 2 x's, x times x. So they both have at least 2. They don't both have at least 3 because this is x to the third, but this is only x squared. So this is my greatest common factor. So once we have the greatest common factor, then we kind of want to work backwards here and say what times 25x squared would be 25x cubed. And hopefully you realize that that's x. Because 25 times 1 is 25, and x squared times x is x cubed, because you add the exponents. 2 plus 1 is 3. And then over here we're going to have 2, because 25 times 2 is 50, and there's the x squared that's there. So if you were to multiply this way, you would get this. So this is called factoring. This is a factor of that, and this is a factor. So the very first method of factoring is the greatest common factor method. And you really should try this method on any problem where you're trying to factor it, which is to break it into terms that would multiply together. Break this down into factors, expressions, if you will, that would multiply together to be the original. Anyway, so try this, look at this, see if you can do this one. See if you can factor, let's say 10x squared plus 100x. Try that and put your answer in the comments.